Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning from Massachusetts, the USA. I'm here on the East Coast of the US, and I'm hoping that some people are going to join me because this is not the usual time we have our monthly live stream, but the end of the year gets a little tricky. I'm checking out the chat. I think we have a couple people already here. I see Unlucky AMD. You're the first. And Retu Nandan? Okay. Well, I'm looking over at my laptop. The audio looks good. I hear myself. If you're watching, if you're joining, and you can give me a thumbs up or just say in the chat, I can hear you, I can see you, give me a thumbs up, and I'll know that we are good to go. Oh, I see a request for grammar and vocabulary and conversation. Well, guess what? You're in the right place because I have videos on all of the skills. I love to teach English and I love to teach all the different skills. I truly believe that all the skills are connected and important, and that's why I believe in teaching grammar, vocabulary, conversation, pronunciation, writing, all of it, because you need to give attention to all these skills. Haider Abbas, I see you. Is it Little Ashin? Hello from Bangladesh. Surprise. Always with your surprising questions. I see you there. Okay. Good to have you all here. It is November 19th, and we usually meet on the first Friday of the month. Apologies, but if you remember, we actually have a bonus live stream on Halloween, and that's what knocked us off schedule a little bit. So we had our bonus live stream at the end of October, and so I waited a bit to have our monthly live stream together. But hopefully in December, we'll get back on track, and I'll try to have that monthly live stream on the first Friday of the month as usual. Okay, I see other people joining. Honey, can we go from B1 to C? Yes, you can go all the way up to C2, guys. It's just a process and it takes time. I just said that we need to focus on all skills. Don't worry about how fast you're learning. Just be consistent, put in the effort, and make sure that you are giving attention to all skills. Okay, they're all important. Make sure you give yourself time to listen to English. Give yourself time to read in English. It's not just about speaking, right? If you want to speak, you also have to have the good input, the good models. So make time to read and to listen as well, because that helps. That's part of how we build vocabulary and grammar. Okay? So today we're going to be focusing more so on grammar, and I'll give you hopefully a boost in one direction, and I'll tell you about opportunities to continue the studies of the topics that we have for today. Okay? Manuel is here. It sounds like a Bee Gees song. Manuel, how do you know that I like the Bee Gees? I can't name all of their songs, but I do like the sound of the Bee Gees. That's a good group. All right, guys, let me see if I can work my magic and go into my screen, share the web. Can you see what I see? I asked my members to help me choose what to focus on, and not everybody voted, just a couple of people actually. I think it's such a weird time for us to have our live stream that it took you by surprise. But anyways, a couple people did help me choose the topic for today. Actually, there was a split vote. So everyone voted in favor of grammar, but we're going to focus on ing and ed adjectives. Then taking that ing, we're going to move into verb tenses, specifically progressive forms. I have a dictation planned for you with a holiday theme, and we'll put it all together. And then, as promised, I'll give you some next steps so that you can continue our studies, okay? Channel members, you will get a follow-up task, okay? And we'll have time for Q&A at the very end. Okay, super. I'm excited to give you that grammar boost. But first, I see that some of you are already using that language, like, can I go from B1 to C1? All right, so some of you know CEFR, those CEFR or CEFR levels, however you choose to talk about that common European framework of reference. So If you're listening to me, you are not A1 or A2 because you're listening, you're understanding. So this is like around B2. B1 could understand. So A1, A2, that's beginner, basic. B1, B2, that's intermediate. C1, C2, that's advanced. If you'd really love to boost your English and boost your fluency, the best opportunity I can offer you that's very affordable too is my Patreon membership program. It is for B2 and higher, and everyone can take advantage of this opportunity that is free. On my website now, and I'll show you in a moment, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, I just added this exciting tool. It's a CEFR level estimator. If you want to know what your CEFR level is, you can find out. It's free. You'll find out in less than a minute. So basically you go here, you're going to click on the button that says let's go, and it's going to give you a question. Then you have to answer the question. It records your answer for about 45 seconds. You have to keep talking. You just can't talk for 5 seconds. You want to answer the question thoroughly, right? As best you can. And it will take your information and analyze your level. And you will find out what your speaking level is. It's accurate, okay? It's a very good tool. I've had a colleague develop it. I've tested it out. It's wonderful and it's free. So I encourage you to take it. It's also a good practice tool and find out, get the feedback what your CEFR level is. If you are B2 or higher, you can join my Patreon membership program as a lifelong learner. So here's a quick look. Let's go to my website. I'm seeing Manuel misses his classmates, Julia. I think she came. Speak of her. We say speak of the devil. But she's an angel, Julia. Okay, so take a look, guys. This is my website. And once you come to the top, once the page loads, scroll down, down, down. I know it's a long page, but this is everything about my program, which I hope you will read about and learn about. But once you come to the very end, you will see the new tool, and that is the CEFR level estimator. See down here? Okay, so if you aren't sure what level of English you have, come down here and click Let's Go. The test will open. You need a microphone. You'll speak. You can do it on your phone too, okay? And then take the test and find out what your CEFR level is. It's free for all of you. So guys, go to englishwithjennifer.com and find out your level today, okay? Totally free. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. Ma Hippo is here. Good to have you. Okay, all right, let's jump in. Are you ready? Say yes, 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 Jennifer. Will it give us the grammar? All right, guys, we're going to start easy, and then I will continue to challenge you. Let's start out easy. Adjectives. We need to know what we're talking about. What are they? Let's go a little bigger here. Okay, what are adjectives, guys? A, B, C, or D? People, animal, things, action, states. Are we describing people, things, or are we describing how, when, where, why people do things? What are adjectives? What are adjectives? Right, you don't have to know tons of grammar terms, but some of the basics, yes, you should know. And I do have a whole series. It's like maybe like series, but like 2 full lessons on the parts of speech in English. You should know nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Those terms are very important to know. You're asking for resources? Here it is. A live stream, a free live stream. Monthly live streams to help you focus on a specific topic and get help. And then after the live stream, members will get a follow-up task. So there's plenty of resources that I offer you. And don't forget, you have hundreds of videos to choose from on my channel in the different skill areas. Okay? All right. Yes, they describe. But what are we describing? What are we describing? Nouns are people, animals, or things. So nope, that's not it. So if they describe nouns and nouns are people, animal, things, then this one, correct? Woohoo. Okay. So remember, people, places, things, animals, those are nouns. Actions and states, those are verbs. When we talk about how, when, where, or why, those are adverbs. But when we talk about how we describe and modify people or things, we give more information about them, then we're getting into adjectives. Adjectives, okay? Adjectives. We use adjectives to describe people, animal, or things, right? And adjectives describe and adjectives. Okay. Adjectives describe, adjectives modify people or things, okay? So what are examples of adjectives? Can you choose a set of examples, A, B, C, or D? Read them closely. I'll go a little bigger. I know some of you are on your phones. Can you see? I think I can go bigger. There we go. Boop, boop. Okay. You need to be able to recognize adjectives because the tricky thing in English is that a single word can function different ways, right? It gets a little tricky when we have a word that can be different things. We have words that are both verbs and nouns. We have words that are verbs and adjectives, or adjectives and gerunds. It gets a little tricky, so you have to be able to recognize an adjective when you see it so that you can use it correctly. Hey, yes. Oh, you're on a roll. Honey. Ding, ding, ding. Couple points for you there. Ma hippo, you're on the ball, okay? Exciting, that's an example of our ing adjective. Some adjectives end in ed though, ing and ed. Here's another ing, but it's hyphenated. Yes, we can have hyphenated adjectives. His, don't forget possessive adjectives. His, her, your, my. And then words like this, these, those are actually adjectives too, right? They help us identify a particular thing or person in a set. Those is plural. That's a demonstrative adjective. You don't have to know that big fancy word, but you need to recognize that this is something we put before people, places, or things. Okay? Super job. We know what adjectives are, and we can start recognizing some of the forms of adjectives. But what about position? Position, like where we put them. Where do adjectives go? Take a look. A, B, C, or D. Are all of those examples correct? Is any one incorrect? How am I using the word thrilling? Did I put it in the right place? Some are correct, some aren't. Manuel, you got it correct. Okay. Further hint? I think only one is incorrect. Do you see which one is not correct? It doesn't sound natural. People might have a hard time understanding the sentence because the word order is not natural. Yes, we could continue the list, Manuel, but people, places, things, all kinds of things. Basically, they describe nouns, right? And nouns are people or things. People or things. You're getting more specific, Manuel, but I think we agree on the basic idea, right? Nouns are answer the question what or who, and adjectives describe like what kind, which one. So we can also think of parts of speech in terms of what questions do these words answer. And adjectives answer the question, what kind or which one. Now, if you can't just put, give me a whole sentence. Don't do just a letter, because I don't know if you're putting a letter to say it's correct or a letter to say it's wrong. Okay. D seems to be wrong. D is incorrect. I agree. Yes. It was a thrilling experience. Good. The experience was absolutely thrilling. Fine. I found it thrilling. Yes. And this one is weird. That's the weird one. Okay. So a lot of the time in English, we put the adjective before the noun that we're describing. A thrilling experience, an exciting experience, a beautiful experience, a memorable experience. We love to put adjectives before nouns. right? We can also put adjectives after a linking verb. This is a common pattern where we have the subject, a linking verb like the verb to be, and then at the end we have a subject complement. So adjectives can be subject complements. The experience, that's our subject, linking verb, thrilling. How thrilling? Absolutely thrilling. Now here you're saying, Jennifer, but wait a second, you put thrilling after, because this is a more advanced structure. If you're listening to me, I suspect that you are high intermediate or advanced, and you've probably heard about something called complements. We can have objects of verbs, and if we give more information about the object, sometimes it does come afterwards, and that's a complement. It sort of defines it and gives more information, and we need it. Complements are necessary pretty much all the time. I found it what? I found it thrilling. I found it exciting. I found it difficult. So adjectives can follow in this pattern, and that's actually an object complement. We're describing it. Right? In this one, it would be correct if we move it and say thrilling adventures, right? It's like thrilling experience. So a lot of the time it's going to come before the noun, but it's also a common pattern to put it after a linking verb. And then we understand that thrilling describes the subject, right? I love you too, guys. Thank you for being with me. All 24 of you. 26 of you. And people watching the recording. All right, so we do need a grasp on the grammar here, because the grammar is our tool to create sentences that people understand. It's all about communication, guys. If your communication is all out of whack, you're putting words together in weird ways, communication will not happen very successfully. So grammar is important because that's our structure. We structure ideas in ways that are natural and clear so that people understand us. Right? Woohoo! Okay, here we go. Very quickly, I'll copy this and I'm going to put it into, where am I going to put it? Here we go. That's for you guys. Okay. This is the link to an older lesson. Probably should update it for you, right? But I had such fun making that one. I should try to think of another good example. This is the lesson on the order of adjectives. Very important to know because I'm still a beginner in Spanish. I'm hoping next year I can become sort of low intermediate. But I know in Spanish it's so interesting that you don't worry so much about the order of adjectives, whereas in English it's very important. We put certain words before others. A lot of the time, now we don't always agree right around here, but we put opinion adjectives first. If it's not a fact but an opinion, that goes first. So thrilling, exciting, that's my opinion. Those kinds of adjectives go first. Then size, age, shape, color, origin, material, noun modifier, meaning a noun that describes another noun, like a family picture. Picture is the noun and family is the noun modifier, or a photo album. Album is the main noun, the head noun, and then photo is describing what kind of album it is. That's a noun modifier. So opinion adjectives always go first. Noun modifiers are going to go last. And here's my example. Fascinating old family photos and documents. I'm going to pause for a moment so I can sip tea, and I want you to take this as your guideline and create a phrase for me with a noun and at least 2 adjectives. And we'll see if you all put them in the correct order. Let's make sure that we're putting our adjectives in the correct order. This is my example: opinion, age, noun modifier, and here are my main nouns. Fascinating old family photos. Okay, your turn. Come up with a noun phrase that has at least 2 adjectives. Don't go for 6. It's just not natural. We don't use 6 adjectives before a noun. But 2 or 3, yes, that happens. Manuel, you have an acronym for it. But AC, this is, you learned that one maybe from a British teacher because you have AC, age, color, age, size, color. Does it match up with mine? Origin. It might. You can learn the acronym. Manuel gave that to help you out. Really, it's just about patterns. If you watch this lesson, it'll help you review. It'll help you review some of those patterns. We don't often do size, age, shape all together. How often do we talk about a big, old, round, red ball? We just don't. We just say like a red ball, a round ball, one adjective, possibly two. Okay? Honey, I see your question. Just stick along, stick with me. Keep up. You're doing awesome if you're following the lesson. This is not a beginner lesson. This is a challenging lesson. And if you're understanding everything I'm saying, you have very good comprehension. So keep going. Stick with me, and that will help boost your grammar today. And also you're getting all that input, and it's going to help with your comprehension, little by little. Every day, listen and read and build that comprehension. Okay, they're coming in. Manuel, an old black leather jacket. Love it. I bought an old black leather jacket from a shop. I love to buy things online from this shop. I won't give them a free advertisement, but I like shopping, and there's different stores. We call them consignment. Basically, people give their old clothes, and when other people buy them, the people earn a small commission. But it's nice, it's less wasteful. It's less wasteful because then we're not creating new materials, we're just reusing. And so I do have a number of secondhand or used clothes that I've bought from either physical stores or online stores. And so I did buy an old black leather jacket several months ago. Okay. We do have some pronunciation videos. Someone's asking about dark L. Check out the pronunciation playlist and see what's there. And yes, I might cover more sounds in the future. Okay, Julia. Julia wrote, he wore a modern blue turtleneck sweater. A modern, that's age, modern blue turtleneck sweater. Love it. Turtleneck, right? And actually, turtleneck itself is already that compound, right? Turtleneck. What kind of neck? Turtleneck. And then we're using turtleneck itself as a modifier. Nouns can become adjectives. We call them noun modifiers. And they're describing other nouns. What kind of sweater? A turtleneck sweater. Wonderful. You guys are awesome. All right, so we've talked about what adjectives do. They answer the questions, what kind, which one. We talked about the position and the order of adjectives. The next thing I want to focus on with adjectives are the ing-ed adjectives. I do have lessons on this, and currently it's something that we're studying on Patreon in the context of active and passive verbs, because ing-ed adjectives are formed from verbs. We take the verb and we add on ing or ed. But what you need to know at this level is that once we form these adjectives, they either have an active or a passive meaning. Active means they can cause us to feel a certain way. Passive means we're receiving something and we've been affected by something. So INGs are the active ones, right? We had the word thrilling before, a thrilling experience, because the experience thrilled me. That's active. How did I feel? Thrilled. ED. Okay? We will do more Q&A, but let's push on so that we have enough time to finish, and then we'll do a Q&A segment at the end, okay? Flamingo Julia. I like you give yourself. Yes, you guys can give yourselves names, okay? All right, so my question for you is, active. It was an amazing trip. Can you finish the rest? B, C, D. Amazing, because the trip amazed me, right? I'll put that in the same green, the color. The trip had the power to make me feel a certain way. The trip did something to me. It amazed me. So it was an amazing trip. Take a look which ones are active, which ones are passive. Oh, do you? Swan neck. Swans are beautiful. But I like the turtle because the turtle's kind of wrinkly. That's what happens to turtlenecks. I think I'll remember that, swan neck. I guess because it makes your neck look very long, right? Yes. You can, Manuel, that would be a guideline. Manuel's giving us a tip that ED is for people and ING is for things. But I could talk about, like, I don't know, a musician, a rock band on the stage, and I could say, oh my gosh, they're amazing, right? They're electrifying because those musicians make me feel a certain way. So yes, very often the ED are people, the ING are things, but people can cause us to feel certain ways too. People can be amazing. They can be electrifying, charming, right? Inspiring. So ING definitely could also be used for people who make us feel a certain way. So what you need to understand is that the INGs are the active ones. Okay? The novel was fascinating because the novel fascinated me. So you should be able to take any ING adjective and rephrase the idea so that we have a verb affecting someone or something. The trip amazed me. The novel fascinated us, right? ED then is going to be the passive ones. People are receiving actions or something, again, people or things. I was amazed by all that I saw. So something affected me. That's how I felt. So I'm a person, but in C, I'm actually talking about a thing, meat. Meat is receiving the action. I don't eat raw meat. I like it fully cooked. You can answer my question in the chat. Does anyone eat raw fish, raw meat? Some people eat beef very, very, almost raw. I like my meat fully cooked. And I do love fish. I do love seafood, but I like my seafood fully cooked. How about you? Do you like your meat fully cooked? What do you eat that's raw? I eat raw vegetables. I eat cooked vegetables, steamed vegetables, but I also eat raw vegetables. How about you? Alan, good question. You need to come up with key examples. So if there's a set phrase or a set example that you can come up with, think about something in the past that bored you. Oh my goodness, I'm older than probably all of you, but growing up, we didn't have a choice. We had television. And you never could fast forward. We didn't record. We had just a few channels when I was a kid. And you had to sit and watch the commercials. But commercials were fun. I liked actually the music. We memorized certain songs from commercials. We called them jingles. But a lot of the time, you also had to sit there and maybe you found the commercials boring. So you were bored. So, picture someone in front of the TV with all the commercials and they can't fast forward through the commercials. The commercials, the TV ads are boring. The person is bored, right? In that way, in that example, Manuel's guideline helps us because the person is ED. The person watching all those commercials is bored. Why are they bored? Because the commercials are boring. Okay? So if you can think of an example and picture it in your mind, picture that person in front of the TV and picture their expression, Alan. That's going to help you. You picture that situation and you have that key example. And if you understand ED is the person who is affected, they're bored, and the commercial is the thing that has the power to make us feel a certain way, boring, that will be your guideline for other adjectives, right? The trip then, ING, had the power to make me feel a certain way. The novel, ING, had the power to make me feel a certain way. These ones are passive. Whether we're talking about me or the meat, we're receiving the action. Something amazed me. The meat was cooked. Had the power. You're asking about communicate with natives. Guys, two things there. You can communicate with other learners. It's also good practice, right? There are lots of people, there are a lot of English language learners in this world. Find them and use them as your conversation buddies. It would be wonderful if I could be a conversation partner for all of you, but I can't. But I can be your teacher on Patreon. So if you do want to have that kind of interaction with other advanced speakers and myself, then you know where to find me. Right? Take that CEFR level check. Woo, look what we've done so far, guys. We've talked about what adjectives are, what they do, what they look like, where they go in a sentence, and now we're getting specific about these ing ed adjectives. If you want to create a couple of your examples, put them in the chat. I asked you about meat. Cooked. Fascinating. I see. Cooked. Fascinating. My hippo. Good job. Okay, guys, moving on. Here we go. Your turn. We're going to do a few of these. Okay, we'll do 5 of them. I might save the other 5 for my members so they have practice too. Okay, choose the correct adjective to complete each sentence. I'll put these 5 up here. I'm going to go like this. Doot, doot. Whoopsies. There we go. Okay, so you have 5 to work with. Doot, doot, doot. Okay. The guests were to taste my holiday pies. Are we talking about how they feel or what they're doing to other people? Super. I'm seeing the answers coming in. Gonna watch my tea so I don't knock it over. What's next? Katrina prepared what menu based on traditional Thanksgiving dishes? We're describing the menu. Does the menu feel something? Did it receive an action? Or does the menu have the power to do something to other people? To people. Julia's on the ball. Inspiring. An inspiring. You look at the menu and think, ooh, an inspiring menu. Okay. Yes. What kind of potatoes? Boiled. We do things. A lot of the ED forms are going to work with food. Boiled potatoes, steamed vegetables, cooked meat, right? Broiled chicken, baked lamb. I don't know. But ED, because we do things to those foods. It's passive. A bowl of potatoes that were boiled. Notice how I can turn this around and use an adjective clause there, right? Potatoes that were boiled. 4, we found a pan in the oven. Someone had forgotten, that's a signal telling you something happened, the cornbread. It was cold and black. Burned. Burnt, by the way, is another form for the past participle. It's fine if some people learn burnt, but burned is fine. A burned pan. So if something right now is burning, it's happening, but a burned pan, it's already black, right? So it already happened. Something made it turn black. It's burned. And 5, okay. The children were amazed. You all agree. Super job. Yay. Amazed by how good the green beans were. And if you've noticed, I'm thinking already about Thanksgiving. There's always some form of potatoes, usually mashed potatoes. Cornbread. I love cornbread. Oh, one of my favorites on the Thanksgiving dinner table. And green beans aren't so bad. Sometimes green beans are very tasty, but not all children love green beans. Okay. The children were amazed. Guests were excited. So yes, a lot of the time people are going to feel a certain way, but as long as there's an action received, it's ED. The potatoes received an action. Something happened to the pan. If it has the power to do something, then ING, an inspiring menu. Okay? All right. The other ones I'm going to save for my members. You guys are doing an awesome job. Papa's potatoes. Yeah. Tell me, guys, how do you like your potatoes? Do you like boiled potatoes, baked potatoes, fried potatoes, mashed potatoes? That'll be ED. Do you eat potatoes? And if so, how do you like your potatoes? Tell me in the comments. I do like mashed potatoes. They take effort. I usually do mashed potatoes for special occasions, Thanksgiving, yeah. But I love a baked potato. Baked potato with butter and steamed broccoli. Yes, I eat a baked potato with steamed broccoli, and sometimes that's dinner for me because it's pretty big, right? A big baked potato with butter, some salt and pepper, and then steamed broccoli. Yum, yum. Fried potatoes. Yeah, that sounds like breakfast food to me. Fried potatoes. Yes, Manuel. T is fine for burnt, but a lot of Americans use the ED. Okay, super. Okay, boop, 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 boop. I hope you can see this. Let's see how this goes on my screen. Fried potatoes. Yeah, that's food to me. Okay. We looked at ing, ed adjectives. Now we're going to focus specifically on ing forms, knowing those ing adjectives also have a fancy name, participial adjectives, because they're formed from the participle. Present participles end in ing, and present participles can function a couple different ways. As you saw, we can use them as adjectives, like exciting, an exciting experience, a fascinating novel. We can also put present participles into verb forms. These are the progressive verb forms. So ing verbs focus on actions that are not complete, actions that are in progress. So I want to make sure that you remember what these forms are, and then we'll create some examples, and then we'll put it all together. Okay. All right. So for example, the present progressive uses a form of be, am, is, are, plus ing. So carve is the fancy name that we have for cutting. We use it for meat. So whenever we have a turkey, someone needs to cut it. Someone needs to carve it. So Chris, which form do we need? Is, we know we have to drop the E and add ing. Chris is carving the turkey. Whoopsies, didn't mean to do the whole thing. Okay? Julia, you got it. Okay, so you can tell me what the example is, and then from the example, we'll know what the form is. Okay? We always know there's going to be this ing here, but what goes before it? Present progressive, present perfect progressive. Okay, you're jumping ahead. I see you, but you got it. Good, good, good. Grandma has been baking. Super job. Has been baking. You guys are awesome. For some of you, any of you, if this is hard to recall, then let your fellow learners help you. We need have or has. Let's do it this way. Have or has been, whoopsies, plus ing, right? Maybe I should write it like this. Okay? Progressive, let's keep going down. Somebody wrote it already. Our stomachs, what were they doing? Was or were our stomachs. Because if we all have our own individual stomachs, Umihani, you got it, were grumbling, right? Make sure you have that subject-verb agreement. So it's very important to choose singular or plural. Was, were, plus ing, right? Okay, our stomachs were grumbling. Moving on. Let's go to these ones. What's happened? The hungry guests, past perfect progressive. The hungry guests. Super Manuel, I see it. And Umi, you got it too. Had been. Ding, ding, ding. You guys are awesome. So what are we doing here? Had been, not had for all subjects. Had been plus ing. Okay? All of these are actions in progress. They're not completed actions. And here what happened with the leftovers? Future progressive. Future progressive. Ma hippo, you got it? Right? At the B2 level, these should come to you fairly quickly. C1, C2, you guys have to have these nailed down very quickly. You're not going to use future perfect progressive very often, but these first few forms you have to know. You have to access them very quickly. So again, you listen a lot, you read a lot, and that reinforces all these patterns. Those people who take the time to listen and to read, they expose themselves to structures, patterns, and then it becomes easier for them in their speech or in their writing to remember the correct patterns to follow. Okay? We will be eating. Woohoo! You guys are awesome. Future is going to use will, be, and then ing. Whoops. Will be eating. You guys are wonderful. Will be plus ing. Progressive, okay? And future perfect progressive is not very common at all, but the form does exist. What about grandma? Will have been preparing. Awesome. Will have been. Look at that. It takes 3 helping verbs, 3 auxiliary verbs to get this form. Will have been plus ing. You guys are wonderful. All of them end in ing. The perfects are going to have that in the bin, right? There's a perfect, there's a perfect, there's a perfect. And then ing is progressive. Now, just a quick little note about grammar terminology. Sometimes it's easier to talk about all these verb tenses. Technically, there are 2 tenses, present and past. 2. Just 2. And then we have something called aspect. Aspect is get a little nuance. We're fine tuning. Is it complete or incomplete? Closed period, open period. So then when we get into perfect and progressive forms, those actually aren't tenses, they're aspects. But I know it's easier just to talk about all these verb tenses. So as long as we understand each other, it's fine. But technically there are 2 tenses, present and past, and then we have modal verbs like will to help us with the future. Okay, and actually we know that a lot of the present tense, sometimes present tense verbs can help us talk about the future. Okay, but that's just a little side note on terminology. You guys are wonderful. Look at these. I'm going to read them one more time. Present progressive, Chris is carving the turkey. Present perfect progressive, Grandma has been baking all week. Past progressive, our stomachs were grumbling. Past perfect progressive, the hungry guests had been waiting all morning, right? From a past point in time up to a second past point in time, but it's all past. Future progressive, we will be eating leftovers for a week into the future. Future perfect progressive, Grandma will have been preparing for at least 3 days. She started and she's going to continue, and we're measuring the time up to a future point. Will have been preparing. A lot of the time, though, you're going to use the present perfect progressive and say, oh, she's so busy. She's been cooking all day. She's been cooking all morning, right? But again, there are some situations where you need to measure up to a future point in time, and that's when we use the future perfect progressive. Okay? Check out my links, Umihani, for grammar, okay? We have lots of lessons and more lessons to come. Hello, hello. Okay, super. Look how much we've done already in about 45 minutes. Adjectives, what they are, what they do, where they go. And then we took the INGs and we're moving away from adjectives and into verb forms, remembering that these present participles help us form a lot of verbs to describe things that are in progress and actions that are still happening or that will be happening. Okay? If these are something that you need to review, do so. Look at the patterns, pause the video if you're watching the recording, and create your own examples. Make sure you are comfortable creating all these different forms. Okay? And then give yourself a pat on the back. Have been carving. Okay, guys. Woohoo! Moving along. Okay, listening challenge. We're going to do dictation, then we'll do our Q&A. Okay? What you see before you is a short text, and there are some missing words. I'm going to read the text the first time quickly at a natural pace. I'm not going to read slowly because I want to test your comprehension. I know it can be difficult. You may understand, but not actually remember all the words. So get a piece of paper, that would be easier, pen and pencil, and get ready to write the missing words. Then I'll read at a slower pace so that you can actually catch all the words and write them down. Then we will read together, okay? So you get a fast version, a slow version, and then we'll read together. You ready? Here we go. Got your pen? Got your paper? You ready to go? Oh, Manuel, I love that. Michelangelo was carving, without just David. We all know David. For 3 years. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready if you are. Here we go. So the title, by the way, is A Good Smelling Kitchen and a Satisfying Meal to Come. Yes, with my Thanksgiving turkey. That's our theme. Okay. It's Thanksgiving morning, and our kitchen is filling with the smell of roasted turkey. Last night, my family was sharing stories about past holidays. Today, I'll be preparing comforting foods. A pot of savory soup is already simmering on the stove. For a holiday meal, I'll be serving a feast that will leave everyone delighted and grateful for the time together. Whew. Wow, that was fast, huh? Yeah, you got one of them, Julia. Okay, I will read more slowly now. Write the words that you missed the first time. It's Thanksgiving morning, and our kitchen is filling with the smell of roasted turkey. Last night, my family was sharing stories about past holidays. Today, I'll be preparing comforting foods. A pot of savory soup is already simmering on the stove. For a holiday meal, I'll be serving a feast that will leave everyone delighted and grateful for the time together. Alan, I see your question. Let's fill in the words and then you can ask if it's a question here in the text. I think, Alan, you're asking about the past progressive, like was doing, were doing, right? That's past progressive. An action in progress at a past point in time. Oh, Julia, look at you. And Manuel, you got it. Okay. You guys are awesome. Let me see. All right. It's Thanksgiving and our kitchen is what? Fill, and add on the ing, filling, with the smell of what turkey? There's only one way to cook a turkey for Thanksgiving, I think. Actually, some people do some weird ways of cooking turkeys, but roasted turkey is traditional. You put it in the oven, you bake for a few hours. If it's a big turkey, then you need several hours. Roasted turkey. Remember we said earlier on in our lesson that ED is common for lots of foods like baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, fried potatoes, steamed vegetables, cooked meat, roasted turkey. So ED, that passive form. Last night, my family was doing what? You guys are good. My hippo, I see you got it too. Super job. Sharing stories about past holidays. Today I'll be what? When you're cooking, you're also preparing. Okay. Now there is a word, by the way, comfort foods, but the form that I used was comforting foods, foods that give you comfort. Maybe they're a little less traditional, but they're good, they're filling, they warm you. Comforting foods. This is not the best combination, but I still wanted to show you it's possible. This is my verb, future progressive. I'll be preparing. And then we have another ing that's an adjective. So it is possible to have back-to-back ing forms. It's just this one is part of the verb and this one is an adjective. I'll be preparing comforting foods. Savory, who knows the word savory? You can put that in the chat. What does savory mean? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you know a similar word for savory soup? Is already what? Is already simmering. Manuel got it too. Simmering on the stove. For a holiday meal, I'll be what? I see, Manuel and the others, you got it. Super job. Serving, a feast that will leave everyone. My hippo and the others, you guys got it. Super job. Your ears are on and you are listening. Yay. Savory soup. Okay, so say savory. 3 syllables. The first one is stressed. Savory. Savory. Savory is like the taste is very good. Savor is a verb, and if you savor the taste, you're taking pleasure in experiencing it. You want it to last. Savor. You can savor an experience, but savor the taste is like you're enjoying it and you wish it could last a little bit longer, maybe as long as it can. So savory soup, it's going to taste very good. And you cook it at a low temperature, simmering on the stove. There's our present progressive, is already simmering. Savory, scrumptious, very good. Scrumptious, tasty, yummy. Good tasting. Boiling with a small fire. Yes, small fire, small flame, low heat. Simmering is cooking something on low heat. Okay? Awesome job. What I'm going to do now, guys, you did awesome. You tested your listening. You put the words in. We have a lot of INGs, including morning, and Thanksgiving. Look at that. Those are nouns. But then we have some verbs, like is feeling. Past progressive. Alan, I think you asked about that. Was sharing. And by the way, Americans treat family as singular. I know, I believe in British English, it might be more common to use were, but Americans use was. Okay? And this is past progressive, meaning there was an action ongoing, right? Was sharing. We want to emphasize the whole process. That's why we use the ing. Okay? But now, the final thing we'll do for a minute is take the text, and I'll go down to this one, and remind you that any text I ever share with you can be used for oral reading, right? Listen to my model. What I'll do with this one is I'll mark it up so you can see the thought groups. It's Thanksgiving morning, and our kitchen is filling with the smell of roasted turkey. Last night, my family was sharing stories about past holidays. Today, I'll be preparing comforting foods. A pot of savory soup is already simmering. That's a big verb. Already simmering on the stove. For a holiday meal, I'll be serving a feast. What kind of feast? That will leave everyone, how? Delighted and grateful. Those are big adjectives. For the time together. You could read all of this, but I'll probably run out of breath. That's why I put it separate. So thought groups are ways that we group words together in natural ways so that we still have good rhythm and we can breathe naturally. You can have more thought groups or fewer thought groups depending on how fast you're reading. But I sometimes like to have more so that I don't run out of breath. Endless situation. I love your commentary, Manuel. Thank you for adding that. I'm making you hungry, my hippo. Okay. All right, guys, this is your model. What you can do later, we have the weekend coming up. Come back to this recording. You'll know it's towards the end. Find the spot in the recording, use my model, and then you read aloud. Take your phone, right? Record yourself, listen, and evaluate. Try a couple of times and then record again. Compare and see if you can improve your fluency as you read. Okay, here's my model. It's Thanksgiving morning and our kitchen is filling with the smell of roasted turkey. Last night, my family was sharing stories about past holidays. Today, I'll be preparing comforting foods. A pot of savory soup is already simmering on the stove. For our holiday meal, I'll be serving a feast that will leave everyone delighted and grateful for the time together. I caught myself debating how to read that. Remember, you could say our, sounds like almost to our, or our, for our. That's a little hard to say, for our. For our. That is tricky, isn't it? For our, in fast speech, you're going to hear for our, but for our holiday meal. It's a little tricky to say, but you can try to link it knowing that the first content word is holiday. Holiday meal, those are your two important words here, your content words, which means these little words, these function words, ideally should link, and then you push to the first content word. For our holiday meal, I'll be serving. So when you practice, just the first time, just read, right? Then try to work on your linking. Right? Try to link words together and get the smooth speech. Record yourself and evaluate, okay? Alrighty, guys. So we've had a lot of practice and you've been active in the chat, which I really appreciate. Members, we'll do Q&A in a moment. I will remember members, there are next steps, right? This is what we all did together. My members are going to get a follow-up task on the community tab, right? I'll give you a little more practice with ing, ed verbs, maybe offer you a chance to write a sentence. My members do have access to like a one-question quiz. I put that there. So it's an easy way to gain more practice. If you're saying, Jennifer, I want more, gosh, it's only $1, guys, to join for the month. And everyone can do the live stream, but my members get a follow-up task for a little extra practice, okay? And they also get a short weekly quiz. But really, guys, the next level up is using all of this grammar and this vocabulary and putting it into larger pieces of writing and conversation. And there's one place where that happens 2 times live each month, and that's on Patreon, okay? More in-depth practice, cameras on, mics on, so that you're not just listening to me, you're talking to me, you're talking to others. There's a lot more opportunity for me to give feedback. Live Q&A with mics on, cameras on. This happens on Patreon, guys. I'm going to put this here, but you can visit my website too, but I will put this in the chat right there. Okay, so if you want to jump straight to the Patreon page, you can. Okay, but on Patreon, we have Zoom classes, independent tasks, lots of exclusive materials. I offer office hours. It's a 30-minute session where you can join me, ask questions. We do focus on all skills. We are currently working on the passive voice. We have one more class coming up on the 21st at night. So if that suits you, you can join us. And again, if you're thinking, I'm not sure, Jennifer, could I handle that class? If you're listening to me now, you can understand me quite well. And this is how we talk on Patreon, okay? No captions. You need to be able to understand my speech at this level. These are B2 plus students. If you're also thinking, I don't know if I'm B2, take the test. This is a special tool to evaluate your spoken English, and it's at the bottom of my website, englishwithjennifer.com, okay? Just scroll down to the bottom of my page, and even if you are on Patreon, by the way, I know I have a couple people here from my lifelong learner group. If you've never, or if it's been a while since you've tested your English, this is free. So just go to my website, scroll to the bottom, and use the CEFR level estimator. Free tool for all of you guys. So as soon as this live stream ends, go ahead on your phone, on your computers, open up English with Jennifer, scroll down to where it says let's go, and get ready to take a test. You have to speak for 45 seconds, and then AI is going to evaluate you. It's very well done, and you're going to get a CEFR level. And you'll find out where you are, okay, in terms of your speaking. All right, questions. I know some questions were coming up. Let me go here to the webcam. Julia, what do you... Oh, I love how you wrote the whole sentence out there. Okay. Alan, did I answer your question about was or were plus ing? That's the past progressive, okay? We have about 1 more minute before we end, and I'm right on time today. That's amazing. Okay. Somebody wrote a question before the live stream started, and I saw it in the comments, and they said, Jennifer, I understand, but when I speak, it's hard, right? Or I think the question was actually, usually understand, but not everything, especially when it's fast. And I just want to remind you, there are lots of good playlists on my channel to help you develop your comprehension. First, if this is rather fast for you, go to my oral reading fluency playlist. Actually, I'm going to see if I can go back to my screen here. Can you see this? Okay, here's my channel, guys. If you click on playlists, you're going to see all the different playlists I've created. Okay, this one, oral reading fluency, there are lots of lessons here, older and newer, and you listen to texts. I read 4 times. There's a listen repeat, you read along with me, and if you really just want to jump to the end, you can hear a fast version of the text, a faster, not fast, but natural speech. But the idea is it's good for listening and it's good for pronunciation, oral reading fluency. If fast speech challenges you, then look at the fast speech playlist, right? What are the patterns that American speakers use? American English speakers have certain patterns when we speak fast, and I cover them here, all right? Also, affirmations can also be used for listening practice, but recently I've been adding some videos. Which one? If you come to videos, anytime you see me with the flag, see there's Jennifer with the flag, Jennifer with the flag, Jennifer with the flag. Those are audio lessons basically. You don't see me on camera. I'm just telling you about a certain topic, about American fashion or American activities or college in America. And there are captions, there's also a transcript, and you can listen along. So that's also a good form of listening practice. Okay? And you want to listen regularly to English. You want to read regularly in English and get that input. That will help you develop not just your comprehension, but you need to reinforce the grammar and vocabulary. So I highly encourage you all to do that. Make time for listening, make time for reading, okay? And don't forget, when this is done, guys, go to englishwithjennifer.com and check out that level estimator. Everyone can find out their CEFR level today, okay? I will see you again on December. I think I'm looking at my calendar now, and probably December 5th. That's the first Friday of the month. That's when we usually meet. Okay? You guys were awesome. Thank you for your participation, and have a beautiful rest of the month in November. Anyone celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.